No Callywag or Scallywag.
He's Aaron Whitlow. I'm Brandon Spivey, and welcome to the Markout Movie
Yeah, one
Podcast.
job, Brandon. You messed it up. You're supposed to say Aaron Whitlow is right. Anyway, welcome to the Markout Movie Podcast. I'm Aaron Whitlow, and he's Brandon Spivey. And today we are reviewing. All right, I'm gonna have to take this away from you, dog. We're reviewing Blazing Saddles. We're recording, man. You can't have this. All right.
And he's really amped up because he made me listen to some rap music on the way back.
Yeah, you're good.
You're amped. You're amped because of the rap.
Well, I'm already amped because it's Blazing Saddles, but okay. All right. Well, before we get into Blazing Saddles, let's play the trailer. Here we go.
Torn from the fiery pages of the mightiest annals of the West comes the supreme saga in the great tradition of frontier drama.
Schwarzes.
He rode a blazing saddle, he wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far.
What's your name?
Well, my name is Jim, but most people call me Jim.
Well, do your best. Now, let's see. Where were we?
Oh, Rock Ridge.
Rock Ridge. I want that land. Clumsy fool.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. There might be a legal precedent. Of course. Land snatching. Let's see. Land. Sea snatch.
Hello, handsome. Is that a 10-gallon hat?
So just sign this, right here.
Oh, okay, give us a hand here.
All right, sir.
Work.
Okay, folks, let's wind out!
The heroic sheriff rallies.
All right. He rose the Blazing Saddle. Aaron Whitlow, we're doing Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles. In order to ruin a western town, a corrupt politician appoints. Oh, that's enough for Google to pull up. I wonder who the corrupt politician Google was thinking of. All right, so a corrupt politician appoints a black sheriff who promptly becomes his most formidable adversary. Directed by Mel Brooks and also written by Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor wrote this as well, along with Mel Brooks. He wrote a lot of the white parts, and Mel wrote a lot of the black parts. It's very interesting dynamic. He helped the scene with the beans and the farting. Richard wrote that scene. It's a brilliant scene in the movie, starring Cleavon Little, Gene Wilder, Slim Pickens, Harvey Korman, Madeline Kahn, Mel Brooks, Burton Gilliam, a whole slew of other people is in this film. Brandon's about to hit you with them numbers.
Them numbers.
Brandon, did you take my drink?
My drink's right here.
Did you drink my drink?
No, I didn't drink it.
Did he drink my drink? I would do the playback. Go ahead.
All right, it's got a 7.7 out of 10 on IMDb. 88% like it on Rotten Tomatoes. 73% like it on Metacritic. Hey, it's the first positive review I do believe we've had on Metacritic.
Yeah.
91% like it on Google.
All right. Let's see.
And he's not.
Oh, Lord. The mayor is a what? No. The mayor didn't say it. The sheriff is. But we ain't going to say what he was. One of the best slapstick movies ever. I agree with you. Joker TV. Gene Wilder, man, could he act? He could. He just gave us a lot of messages. I'm trying to pull them all up. Mel Brooks is a comic pioneer, and lastly, Joe Biden is Blazing Saddles. Actually, yeah, I actually thought about that honestly in watching this movie. Not to go too political, but there was a point in watching this. I thought about Joe Biden as Mel Brooks' governor role, Lepetamain, because he's a governor, but Hedy Lamar actually runs everything.
Yeah.
But he just gets him to sign the paperwork. But yeah, Blazing Saddles, 1974. Boy, Brandon, is this a controversial movie? Or it would have probably. It probably wasn't then. It would totally be now.
I think it was then too.
You think it would have been controversial then?
Yeah, 1974, definitely.
All right, tell me.
Controversial. Definitely. It's the most racist film I've ever seen.
No. American History X is the most racist film I've ever seen.
You didn't let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
It's the most racist film I've ever seen in a comedy genre.
Okay. All right.
You gonna argue that?
No, it's not racist in the sense of.
It's very racist, Aaron.
All right. Well,
this would offend so many people today, and I love it.
Well, Mel Brooks. All right, so here is the cover of Blazing Saddles. This is on Blu-ray. As you see, Cleavon Little. You got Gene Wilder. You got Mel Brooks, and also Hedy Lamar. Hedley. It's Hedy. He always corrected people in this movie. Man, yeah, it would be it would not. I assume it would get canceled today. Like the culture, the cancel culture we have.
You couldn't do this today.
No, there's no way we could do it today. They would totally want to, see it never to be seen or aired again. If Gen X people see Blazing Saddles, they're gonna throw a fit. But the thing about comedies then is, back then they weren't afraid to poke fun at things that people would be like, you can't poke fun at, but in a comedic way, and nothing was off limits. Like, for instance, it reminds me of South Park in a sense. Now, South Park, nothing's off limits with South Park. They would poke fun at anything and anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you want to be like, but it's satire, and this is what this movie is. It's satire.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, people would get offended today.
They totally would.
And I love it.
But
I honestly...
explain that.
Well, okay, there's some of the jokes in there I'm laughing at, and I'm like, I feel bad for laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it makes me a racist.
All right.
I know it. But it just... it's fun. It's great. If you go in with the right attitude, you can have a blast with it. But I can just see people today that have this 2021 attitude, just hating this movie, wanting to cancel this movie. If it was made today, they just would throw
totally.
a fit. Yeah, it wouldn't work. But I love that these films were made though, because they pushed the envelope of what you could make, especially back then. I mean, they weren't scared of nothing.
Yeah. So
I love that. You got to push the envelope, especially in comedy. You got to push it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mel, he was known for pushing the envelope. He was like the precursor to the people that did, like Naked Guns and the airplane films. Mel Brooks was a pioneer in the satire genre. 12 Chairs, High Anxiety, which is, was a Hitchcock satire type of film. He's a pioneer. He's still with us today, thank God. He is a pioneer in this avenue of films, and of course he's gonna do Blazing Saddles at that time, and look at race, but look at it in a different perspective. So this movie is about the sheriff in this town, played by Cleavon Little. Do you remember his name in the movie?
No, I don't.
Let's see. I'm gonna look it up, but it was I should know this because this is it's one of my favorite movies. Bart, yeah. So Cleavon Little, for those that don't know him, I don't know if anybody's really seen Once Bitten. Is it Once Bitten or Twice Bitten?
Is that Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey. Once
yeah,
Bitten.
It's Once Bitten.
He's in Once Bitten. He plays the main butler of the Vampires.
Oh, he does he?
Yeah, that's the same
him?
guy. Yeah, yeah, that's him. He played him in there. I can't really think of a lot of other stuff he's been in. Those are the only two movies I know him in. Is this and Blazing Saddles and Once Bitten. But and then of course everybody knows Gene Wilder mainly as Willy Wonka, as young Frankenstein. You know, he's an exceptional actor. As DK said, he's a man. He's a genius. You know, in respect to films. But this movie's about Bart. He's a railroad worker in the Old West, and he is told to go and investigate quicksand down the path. Before we get there, you see that it's a hot day and they're all working on the train tracks. Chinese folks and blacks are working on the railroad tracks with the whites as pretty much the overseers of this. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. And they want, it's hot. People are passing out, and they want them to sing a song, and they want them to sing what we call historically Negro spirituals. Those are, Brandon, that's what they're called. Negro spirituals, like Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
Swing Low.
Don't do it. And
Sweet
don't do it.
Chariot.
Don't do it. No. That's our stuff. Don't do it. Anyway, so they wanted him to sing those songs, and they said, Sweet Low, Sweet Chariot. Then he says, or how about the Captown Ladies? You can do that one.
I don't know it.
Captown Ladies sang their song, doo-da, doo-da. The Captown Ladies, 5 miles long, oh, doo-da, day.
You're doing a fine job, sir.
Run all night, run all day. No. So they get the white folks to singing that, and then like Slim Pickens rolls up. Slim Pickens plays the main henchman, Taggart, of Hetty, and or Headley. I'm sorry, Headley Lamar. Hetty Lamar is real. Headley Lamar is fictional. All right. And he plays the main dude, and he sends them to like Bart and his other buddy to go down to investigate the quicksand. And what happens?
They fall in quicksand.
Yep. But what happens when Taggart and other guy comes up to and sees them?
What is it they're on?
That little thing, majig. The train cart. The cart.
The cart.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So they get the cart out, and they were going to leave the two gentlemen behind to die.
Good choice of words. All right.
I'm not going to say what they said. That's racist.
Yeah. But well, you can just say black. That's not racist.
Hey, some people consider that to be racist. Too. You can't say anything today.
I don't consider racist to say black. I mean, or African American. That's fine. But anyway,
I'm just gonna go gentleman.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's nice to not look the color there, Brandon. Good job. And you're from Russellville, so hey.
He's got to take this is the normal thing now.
No, I'm playing. I'm playing. No disrespect about Russellville peeps. But anyway, so they get the card out.
Leave Bowling Green every once in a while, Aaron.
Yeah, and so Bart takes the shovel and hits Taggart upside the head, and he gets sentenced to death, to be hung.
Yeah, he's gonna get hung.
Yep, and
hanged.
I don't know the proper noun. Anyway,
it's gonna be a hanging.
There you go. It was, but then there's a small town of Rock Ridge, and Rock Ridge is facing. So they are right in the path of where a train can come through in order for Headley Lamar to reap the rewards and profits. And so they want to build the train tracks, the trains straight through this town, and they need this town to be empty or vacated. So the only way to do that is to send first henchmen to the town to run the people off, kill the sheriff, rape the cattle. This is what they said they did, didn't they? The cattle were raped.
I'm laughing and I'm not trying to.
That's what they said. But so they sent people to do these things, and it wasn't enough to scare the town off. They said, we need a sheriff.
We need a sheriff.
So they wrote to the governor, and the governor appointed them a sheriff. But Hadley decided to appoint the sheriff that would get killed so that they could come in and take the town. And they appointed a black sheriff over this white town. And we had that funny scene of Cleveland, little Bart.
Talking about when they all pointed the guns at him.
Well, before, he's riding in the town.
At himself. He started talking that weird voice.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on that scene? So let me set it up for you. All right, he's coming into town. Like you're Count Basie. Do you know who Count Basie was? He's a legendary.
Only person I know in this movie is Mel Brooks.
Man, you are so young. Anyway, so Count Basie.
I'm literally like
the guy. You know, like you heard the music. You heard that score when he was riding in town, and the orchestra, and the guy was on the piano. He got him and gave him a pop his hand like, "Hey, brother," you know what I'm talking about? Did you not watch this scene? All right. Anyway,
no, I know.
That's Count Basie,
okay.
Legendary musician, legendary orchestra leader, Count Basie. I can't believe you never heard of his name. But that's fine. Young people. Anyway,
4 years younger than you.
Totally young. So
you're 41, right?
Yeah. I digress. But anyway,
4 years younger.
So he comes into town and they're getting the town ready. The guy's like, we send on behalf of Rockridge, we send this laurel and a hearty handshake to our new mayor, our new sheriff. And so he rides in and they're striking the band up, and they got Gabby Johnson. He's the frontier man with the jabber type of talk that I was doing at the beginning of the podcast.
He was impersonating. Yeah, he wanted me to do it. And I was like,
he's no fun today, guys. All right, anyway.
I'm sorry. I was amped up. Then we had to go listen to rap. It brought me down.
Why does rap bring you down?
No,
that's another discussion.
I don't know. I like Eminem, but
rap. You should listen. You need more blackness in your life, Brandon. That's what I'm trying.
I can see it now. He's gonna go. Once you go black, you don't go back.
That's not true. Some folks like white. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back onto the Blazing Saddles, man. Anyway, he comes into town, and Brandon, what happens?
What happens when he comes to town?
Yeah.
When he gets introduced to being the sheriff,
yeah,
they all point guns at him. I don't understand. Even if you're the most racist town in the world, why did all these people have guns?
Because it's the West. Everybody had guns, Brandon.
In some towns, you weren't allowed to carry a gun.
It's not in the West.
It was in the West.
What town in the West you couldn't carry guns?
Tombstone.
Okay. Whoop-de-doo. It wasn't Tombstone. It was Rockridge.
I know it was Rockridge, but so many people have guns in this town.
It's called satire, Brandon.
I know what it's called.
The point is,
I get it. I'm just trying to make a point that everybody has a gun. Hey, everyone has a gun today too, even Aaron.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, but yeah, so he comes into town and he's like, "Excuse me while I whip this out." What was your thoughts on that?
He quoted that in the vehicle too. I'm gonna whip this out. I was like, "No, you ain't."
Yeah, I'm talking about the vehicle. That's hilarious. I didn't realize they quoted it. Okay.
Yeah, you quoted it.
All right. So in this movie,
after I handed you the gas jug.
Yeah.
Everybody's wondering what we were doing with the gas jug. But we were getting
somebody ran out of gas. My wife.
Yeah.
That's someone. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, in this movie, he gets the gun, he gets his way, and then the town people are not the brightest people.
No.
I never really fully understood or liked that scene. Even when I first saw this film back on VHS, way before the advent of DVDs, I didn't understand that. I was like, why? How are they that dumb? Where he can be like, don't make moves or he'll get it. I'm not going to say what he says, but, he's like, do what he say. And then, he walks away now. Is anybody going to help that poor man? To get the scenario, Bart literally holding the gun up to himself to get out of getting shot by anyone else. He's essentially being a hostage by himself.
Yeah.
and playing the voice of the hostage and the victim and the hostage taker. Is that what you call him?
He would be
Criminal?
He would be the hostage taker. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what was your thoughts on that scene, Brandon?
I mean, I thought it was funny. I mean, my actual thoughts though was like, okay, the town's buying into it. Okay, why are they buying into it? Other than they're stupid. But I don't know. You could think he kind of sounded white to me too when he was doing that voice.
Yeah.
Because they overlooked the color.
Yeah.
I think it could be a deep meaning that way.
Okay. Break it down. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think that the town could be like, oh, he's not really black. Listen to the voice instead of looking at the color.
It's an interesting take.
It is an interesting take, and it's probably wrong, but
I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I've never heard that, and I can see where you would think that. It makes sense that they could because at that point they were oblivious to his race and who either is totally blind to the fact that he is the hostage and the hostage taker at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his hand. It was almost as if it was not his hand and it's not his voice saying those words, but it was a weird moment. But love y'all's input on that scene. If those have seen Blazing Saddles, please comment on YouTube. I'm gonna try to check Facebook periodically to see if anybody commented. Brandon, I don't know if he has the ability to do so. Don't know Brandon's life, but yeah.
I can
check
technically check it because I have 36% left on my phone.
You can check our podcast page.
Check the podcast page.
Yeah, and so and I'll keep a check on ours. But yeah, I was interested in seeing. So he gets away, and he makes it into the sheriff's station. There he meets eventually Gene Wilder. Your thoughts on Gene Wilder's performance in this film?
My thoughts on Gene Wilder's performance. Jim, the kid.
Jim.
What was he?
Waco Kid.
Waco Kid. Yeah, that's it. No comments so far.
Okay. So go ahead.
I know a lot of people just love Gene Wilder. I have a confession to make, and it's not going to be popular.
Oh Lord.
I've never been the biggest fan of his. I haven't seen a lot of his films either. Willy Wonka stayed with me. It scared me as a child for whatever reason. I was terrified of him as Willy Wonka.
That's interesting.
So I wasn't a huge fan of Gene after that.
So it kind of killed it for you for Gene.
But other stuff I've seen him in, including this, I was like, oh, it's a different Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
I like him.
More. I guess go ahead.
He tones it down.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's a more toned down Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
In this, he
From
could
what
be
I've
over
seen
the top.
and other stuff.
I can see how you could be scared of Willy Wonka because there's a point in that film where Gene like the tunnel scene, and especially also when he yells at the kid with the who won. I forget the kid's name at this point. I hadn't seen that movie in years. He said, "You win, you get nothing. Good day, sir." Yeah. Oh man, I love it. Oh, just Gene Wilder's performance. He has a way of when he amps up. He was like a precursor to Nicolas Cage in the sense of like being able to overact but still captivate you.
Yeah.
Not overact in a way where it turns you off. Because Nick Cage can overact and you're like, let me see more. You know what I'm saying? Same with Gene. Gene can overact and you're like, I'm not turning away from this. This is brilliant.
Yeah, I think as far as Cage goes, that's the brilliance of Nicolas Cage is he overacts.
I wasn't trying to listen to it.
And you see more of that, but as you were saying, I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Gene Wilder performances to say he's that, but I assume you have. So
we got some comments on Facebook. Let me see if I can mute the Facebook stream. Anyway, I don't know how to properly do that. All right, I'm gonna mention it and then I come back to it. Funniest movie ever. Jerry S. Rich, my buddy Jerry and I. Quick story. I hope Jerry's still watching. So I don't know if he is or not, but let me turn this down. That's what I do. All right. So Jerry says this. The funniest movie ever. So, quick story. I seen it the first time I seen this movie. Jerry, I guess it was back in '99. Me and him would hang out like often. In '99, me and him would just hang, and we would watch this. We watched this together. And we had a VHS. We watched it. The scene that Jerry would crack up on every time was the candygram for Mongo
Oh
scene.
yeah.
Because he came in, he was like, candygram for Mongo. Just his voice, candygram for Mongo. And he says, sign here, please. And then when he turned, he took, thank you. He turns. And the way he kept his eyes looking at him, his eyes was the last thing to turn. And I never noticed that until Jerry pointed that out to me. And every time I see that scene, I crack up because that man pointed it out. And now I can never unsee that. So next, if you ever watch it again, just pay attention to that little subtle acting nuance by Cleavon, and it's funny. Also, Jim says Count Basie was a legend. Yes, he was a legend, and it was Mel Brooks. The satire was wild. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if y'all have any more comments, I'm gonna try to mention them. He's gonna keep a look on our Facebook page as well. But what were your thoughts on? You said that about Gene. We talked about. What's your thoughts on Cleavon? What's your thoughts of Bart, the character of Bart, the sheriff, sheriff that he never didn't want to be sheriff. He actually wanted to be sheriff. So what's your thoughts on this?
As the character overall, when you first meet him, I think he's a bit of a smart ass, actually. But I liked him. He's not gonna take their crap. He's not gonna take the white man's crap. He's gonna fight the good fight. And right. But I liked him. I thought he's a very comedic actor. Very good timing in this performance as well. I love it when he's about to get hanged, though.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on real quick? The hangman, the guy that was gonna he's like a hunchback type of dude. He's like, welcome to hotel death or something. There's no color. We're all colorblind here. It's just like seems like the nicest guy, and he just drags his feet. It's just the comedic thoughts, genius of Mel Brooks, man. And his writing and his he's just, oh my goodness, it's just you don't see comedies like this no more.
No, you don't see parodies like this anymore.
You mentioned that with Spaceballs.
Spaceballs is on a different level as far as
I agree. Spaceballs is by far his best movie.
I think it's not just Mel Brooks' best. I've only seen two.
We're gonna see more,
but as far as parodies go, I think it's the best. I always said Naked Gun was, but after watching Spaceballs last year, I don't know. It's on another level. It really is.
Yeah.
But I thought the guy did a good job. I think everybody in this movie had really good comedic timing.
Jerry also mentions how the band stops playing. But yeah, and he also mentions he agrees there's a lot of funny racist jokes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, there's racist jokes in this movie, but they're funny. They're funny, and just I'm trying to think of obviously the one thing that we didn't mention. All right, so when he came into town, the band is playing, the band striking up, and there's a big gong and stuff that happens. Same time, Gabby Johnson sees him coming up, and he realizes that he's black. And he's saying the N word. He says the sheriff is in, but at the same time the gong hits, and you don't hear everything he says. And then one of them was like, "What does he say?" And then they're like, "He said the sheriff is near." He said, "No, don't blame it. The sheriff is." But it's just so great. But yeah, we find out that Gene Wilder's in this movie. Gene Wilder becomes his deputy. So you have two things happening here. You have Bart and Jim trying to police the town and make it safe.
Yeah.
And get the townsfolk invested in them as sheriff and deputy. And then on the other side, you have Headley with his henchmen trying to get people out of the town and doing anything he can to get them out. So he tried having Stampede come through to just beat up people and destroy their town. That didn't work. Then he appointed a black mayor. That didn't work. And so then they sent in who? Mongo.
Oh yeah.
What's your thoughts on Mongo?
My honest thoughts on Mongo when I first saw him he reminded me of a former professional wrestler.
Mongo McMahon?
No.
Okay, I was wondering.
Take the name Mongo out of it. No, he reminded me of George the Animal Steel.
Okay.
I got that impression.
I can see that.
He was a fun character actually. But
the guy that played him is Alex Carris. People may know him from he was in Porky's. He's in Victoria. Sentinel. I've never seen Sentinel. He's been I knew him from a show back in the 80s, and I'm trying to remember the show that I seen him in. I think it wasn't Coach. It was a show that he was. Do you remember a show that he was in?
No, I don't. Like I said, most of these people, this is the first time I ever seen them. So.
All right. He was in the Odd Couple TV show. He played Jack in the Odd Couple.
The original.
Yeah. Hard Case. I knew him from something. I just can't recall at this present time. He was in a big show. If anybody Webster, he's in Webster. That's it. That's where I know him from. All right, but yeah, he's a big dude, dumb dude, but he really is strong. He punches a horse. I think Arnold stole that from him. Actually, Arnold punches a camel though, right?
Yeah.
But
and Conan.
He punches a horse. I believe he did. No, well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's another Western somewhere where a horse gets punched. If anybody knows that, please comment and let me know the where the horse was punched. But anyway.
I also think Kurt Russell punched a horse or a camel.
I think he did. What was it? Do you remember what movie it was?
Stargate, maybe?
Yeah, it was later on, though. It was like in late 80s, early 90s.
This is late 90s.
Yeah.
Or mid 90s.
Mid 90s, yeah. But yeah, so anyway, Mongo comes to town. People are scared. Mongo is destroying the town. Yeah. That's when we get the candygram scene with he invents the candygram essentially to get Mongo. He beat Mongo essentially and had him chained up in the.
Not to go back to wrestling, but does it remind you of Rikishi giving everybody a stink face?
No, it reminded me actually of Andre squashing people in the corner. That's the image that came to my mind.
Yeah, I got Rikishi stink face.
that's crazy. Hey, Matthew Carter's watching. He waved back at Matthew. Hey, Matthew Carter, thanks for watching, buddy. All right, so Mongo gets beat up, and then from this point, Headley, and they kept doing a recurring joke where it's Hetty and Headley. Hetty Lamar was an actual actress, like in the early advent of sound and movies, I think. Early actress. Headley Lamar, obviously, it dies on people today who don't know these people. So it's like, I don't get that joke. You know, some jokes can be over your head because it's like in this time frame. It's like in Naked Gun, the first one. When he beats up a lot of people at the table, a lot of people don't know who Gorbachev and a lot of other people that is at the table that Leslie Nielsen, Frank Drebin is beating up on. You wouldn't know who these are, but if you know, then it makes sense. You know, the little jokes like wiping off the little birthmark and stuff. But anyway, they sent in the late great Madeline Kahn. Have you ever heard of her before this movie?
Nope.
Jim,
I told you.
People are listening to this podcast. Brandon Spivey has never heard of Madeline Kahn. Madeline Kahn, guys. I hope somebody comments on that because this man has never heard of Madeline Kahn. Madeline Kahn she passed. So she passed cancer several years ago. Have you ever seen Mixed Nuts? With
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was in that movie. She was the old lady that works with him. That's kind of a prunish lady. Prudish, rather. Prudish, like, you know what I'm talking about?
I remember.
That's Madeline Kahn. All right.
Okay.
That's when she was older. But yeah, she was really heavy in a lot of Mel Brooks films. She was like, Mel Brooks uses the same people in a lot of stuff. And that's great. I love people to do that. He keeps them working. But Madeline was one of his go-to people that he would use. And she was in History of the World. She's in Young Frankenstein and other stuff as well. So, but Madeline,
You like his Madeline?
Madeline Kahn, man, she's talented. She obviously, you can see that she was entertained. She sung.
Yeah.
She played like a German lady that couldn't pronounce her R's. Come to my womb, and things like that. What's your thoughts on her? Not knowing her. First time, first impressions.
Aaron, he just wants to put me on the spot. I don't know this woman.
I gotta have conversation, man. It's just not me.
But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I thought everybody was good in it. It's just like, yeah, I didn't know who this woman was. I didn't know really much about her character. It was funny to see her mispronounce certain words, but and she could sing. So I mean, she left a decent.
My cousin Noah's watching. Thank you, Noah.
I thought she was decent, but I mean, I'm not in love with her like you are.
Hey, man, I mean, I recognize the greats, and she's one of the greats. And so, a lot of these people, people won't realize and recognize because they were before a lot of the younger generation time, and it'd be great if you can get the younger generation to be able to see these people. Maybe go back and watch some of their films. Go back and watch some Mel Brooks stuff. Like a lot of people don't know. Like I watched this one guy doing a reaction to this movie, and he said, "Oh, he first says Mel Brooks. He wrote, directed, and is in this movie. That's great." And then like when he seen Mel Brooks on screen, like when he showed the governor, they like, "Oh, this guy's in this movie," not knowing that that's Mel Brooks. And then like I guess he went back. Somebody probably told him, "Hey, that's Mel Brooks." And when he edited the scene from Naked Gun where they do that, like the head slap thing, but yeah, it's funny because people don't know these people. I met a young guy once who didn't know who John Candy was, and that was embarrassing. Like people should know who John Candy was, But
I think there's a lot of people that don't know who John is or was. I mean, it is true. I mean, you grow up watching. I grew up watching John. You really grew up watching him. But yeah, it would be embarrassing if you were talking to somebody. John Candy comes up and they don't have a clue. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah. I mean,
for me, that would be like a Jim Carrey or Adam Sandler. You're not knowing who they are.
And it might come a day where the Jim Carrey is where people don't know who they were. I think Jim kept himself fresh, especially with Sonic, but I don't want to get on to a different thing. But I think it's what he did. But with this movie, I thought that it was okay to poke fun at certain things. And yes, they use words that nobody really would cringe about, but they did it in a satire, in a comedic way where you're like, okay, it's funny to kind of laugh at these things.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
When you first watched this movie,
back in the day.
Was there a part of you that got offended a little bit, like how it started?
No. To be honest with you, I was a little under the influence when I watched this.
He was under the influence.
I was. Hey, that is a different day, different time from back then, man. But
different time.
But no, I wasn't really offended. I have thick skin at some things. It's hard to really offend me because I grew up watching movies like
I was just curious, being a black man.
Yeah, no.
Growing up watching.
I was more offended in watching American History X. That movie offends me. I would never watch it again because that was such an offensive movie to me. It wasn't in a
that's an important movie too.
It wasn't in a satirical way.
Growth of that one character of Edward Norton's.
Yeah, folks, they need to grow away from racism.
I'm just saying how he changed over time throughout that movie. It was.
Yeah,
I think it's an important film. I think a lot of people should watch it. I think a lot of racists should watch it. Maybe learn something.
Yeah, I can't watch that movie ever again in my life. I can't do it. But I'm gonna wave at Celeste. Thank you for watching. So yeah, I think that this movie though was it's great to see these people come together and act and throw out some words that you probably like. There's a scene where Cleavon, still optimistic, he goes out on the town. Jim says, "Hey, you probably should want to stay in today. Don't worry about trying to win the people over." And he's like, "No, I think I can win them over. I'm not gonna give up on blah 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 blah." And so he goes out and he sees an old lady. He says, "Hi, ma'am. It's a lady and a lovely day." And she says, "Up yours."
Yeah.
A word that we ain't gonna use. And and it just brought him down. Like they crossed dissolve to him. He went from a smile to his face to like just totally sad until Jim lightened him up a little bit, made him laugh. And it just was it was. But then he got that back when he beat Mongo. She came back and was like, "I'm sorry for the up yours. Here's a pie."
Yeah, I was thinking she gave him a pie. And
Yes. But then she came back and
back.
says, "Hey, of course you ain't gonna tell nobody that I've talked to you," because she's still racist.
Yeah.
She ain't not racist.
She's worried about public opinion.
Exactly, and that's what a lot of town folks in this movie is worried about is public opinion. Because we'll get to the ending, but what were your thoughts on that scene with that old lady in here?
Oh, that was hilarious. The fact that she had to come back and tell him, she was wrong, and she made him a pie, and then he closes the window and he's walking back. And then there's another knock on the door. You're not going to tell anybody about this, are you? I love it. I love that she had to apologize.
Also, my cousin Derek was watching earlier. I'm sorry if I didn't mention it in time. Sorry, bro. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, that these people, this town that hated him in the beginning, they had to, get their own selves out of the way, so to speak, and follow him. And despite color, I mean, it has a lot of deep meanings in this movie.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it does, and I think that there's I never thought about it, but yeah, she apologized. She came back, but it wasn't like she wasn't yet ready to publicly accept him.
Yeah,
but privately, it's very much like I'm going to take it to a biblical step, Brandon. It's like Nicodemus. Nicodemus, biblically, he came to Jesus at night because during the day he was a Pharisee, and so he can't be seen talking to Jesus like that because of embarrassing, because of his position, and so he came under the guise of night. They call him Nick at night. Nicodemus at night. Nick at night, get it? So
I get it.
He came at night to talk to him, and and to learn from him. That's when Jesus schooled him and everything. And that's when he told him that for God so loved the world that gave his only begotten Son. For God so loved the world, whosoever believes should not perish but have everlasting life. But he gave him that nugget of truth. But then he went off, right? So same with this lady. She came back, but she wasn't ready to publicly say, "Yeah, I'm cool with you." Quick question. This made me bring up another question. What was your thoughts on the relationship between Jim and Bart?
I thought it was a good relationship. I thought, first of all, I mean, you see how everybody's so racist, and you get Jim, who's not.
Mm-hmm.
He accepting. And you see them two working together, a black man and a white man working together in a town that is full of hate. And I love that. And I thought it was very funny. I thought they had good chemistry, good comic chemistry. It was good. It was a good relationship. They worked well together.
Yeah, I agree. They did. I think that they really, you could tell that, you could tell that they maybe developed a friendship.
Yeah.
If they weren't already, you can tell that they developed one during the filming of this movie. Gene is really good with playing off of people. I love Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor movies. One of my favorite subgenre. I think it's his own genre of comedy. Is a Gene Wilder and Rich Pryor film. Stir Crazy. I think Any Which Way but Loose and Any Which Way. But I think I don't want to confuse
No,
that. That might be
that's Clint.
That's Clint. Yeah.
Yeah, with the monkey.
They have another movie. I forget. Grease Lightning. I think Grease. I forget. But also the one that mainly that stayed out. If I'm wrong, if anybody know these movies, please name him. But I love Stir Crazy and I love See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
That's the one I've seen.
Where
It's been a long time I've seen that one.
Where Richard is blind.
Yeah.
Gene is deaf, and they become friends.
Yeah.
And they play well off one another. It's oh my goodness.
I mean, that was the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 80s had like
80s,
comedies.
early 90s. It's like it was like Richard would they did a series of films together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I was gonna say no, it ain't like that. I was gonna say it's kind of like Pauly Shore and Brandon Fraser, but they don't really have series of films together, so it wasn't a good comparison. Amy Smart and no, that's probably not a good. But I'm trying to think of some people.
Walter and Jack.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good man. Way to be there. So Walter and Jack, Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, had great chemistry. You can't deny their chemistry. Like that's why My Fellow Americans didn't work for me as well, because it wasn't them two. I think it would have worked better for me if it was them two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you don't see them two, you feel cheated. When you see one of them without the other, and it's no discredit to one or the other, but it's just that when you see them together, it's just magic. You know? They're
very good solo, but when you put them together, in my opinion, there was no better duo in Hollywood history. That's just my opinion, but I've never seen two guys make me laugh more. Never.
Yeah.
But they were great. But I do agree, Gene and Richard were fantastic together, and so was Gene and what was his name?
Gene and Richard.
No, the guy in this one.
Oh, Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah,
Cleveland Little.
They were good together too.
And I would love to have seen them do more things together, but Gene, Gene and Richard are powerhouses, and it's essentially Gene and Richard, but Richard is behind the scenes as a writer in this.
Yeah.
So
you could tell.
Yeah, you can
if
tell.
You know a little bit about Richard Pryor's comedy, you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a lot about his comedy, but I've seen certain things where I was like, I could tell that.
There's a Richard Pryor movie, Bustin' Loose. It also stars the late. Why did I just draw a blank? I shouldn't even said it, but oh man, she just passed away, and I'm sorry that I'm blanking on her name right now. Oh, Cicely Tyson. The late Cicely Tyson and Rich Pryor. They were in this movie together, Bustin' Loose. And in this film, there's a scene where the bus breaks down in the back country road somewhere, and it's muddy and it's rainy. And he's mad because he gets out because he's trying to push the bus out. There's a bus full of children that are like problem children. And they try to take them to this new location, but they're problem children, and they're like but they're on the bus. He's trying to get it out, but he can't get it out. He's mad. He has to go into town, see if he can get some help. He's cussing. He's walking, cussing, talking to stuff like, man, they get my damn nerve about all this. These kids, y'all should leave these little kids somewhere, man. He's talking, he's paying attention in his own head. You know how you can be, right?
Yeah.
You be in your own head just talking, and he ain't paying attention. And then, there's two paths, and one path leads into the road, and it's like a Klan. It's the KKK with white robes and with their torches. He doesn't even realize. And he's just cussing. He's talking, and then he realizes that they're around him, and he just gets quiet. He just sinks back into him. It's so funny because it's comedy. These people have a tendency. Cleveland did this too in this movie. And that's my point. They have a tendency to be able to be comedic, not just vocally, but with their visual, with their comedic mannerisms. You know what I mean? Like Gene Wilder can do that. Richard can do that. Cleavon did it a lot in this movie. like with his eyes and the way he looks at things, you know. And you got any thoughts on that type of comedy, like the physical? It's not really physical, but you know.
Yeah, physical comedy was actually more my thing when I did acting. So yeah, when you're doing it though, you're not thinking about it. You just react. It's reacting. That's all it is, and basically. So people that can do it well, because Lord knows I wasn't the greatest, but I did good enough, but can do it well, man. It'll make you it'll make you laugh for hours. I mean, really, because you'll think about it, how funny they were, how physical it was. I think it's a lost art form in today's comedy, because you don't get to see much physical comedy these days.
I agree. And I'm not really talking mainly slapstick stuff. Like this movie has a lot of it.
Yeah.
It has a lot of pratfalls and things like that. But I'm talking about the whole like there's this one scene in here. It's not it's not really physical. It's more of just delivery. So this lady at the very beginning, not very beginning, but they're having a town meeting, and they ask her to say some words, what she's going to send back to the governor in her displeasure of the mayor, the sheriff that they sent to them. And so she says, "We, the people of Rock Ridge," and they're like, "Speak up, we can't hear you." And then she says, I'm sorry. Wait, and she goes and like really loud, and everybody like kind of jumps.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that it would have worked if she didn't hit her mark and they didn't hit their mark.
Right.
And when you hit your marks and you hit them like precisely, it works. And that's what this movie has. A lot of people hitting their marks, being where they need to be comedically with the dialogue and the timing, and it works. And that's why this movie works so much for me, because of everybody, not just the two main characters or the 2 to 3 main characters, but the people that make up the side characters and stuff. It all works,
Yeah, it does. It really does work. I agree with you.
Any thoughts? We can get towards the end. So they so after all this happens and they send in Madeline, they send Madeline Kahn in to pretty much tame the sheriff and make him her, she said slave, she said it.
Yeah.
but he flipped the script on her.
Yeah.
Put it on her, and she's like she's won over by him.
Yeah.
And so then they decide to rustle up a posse of different people, everyone. What is your thoughts of that scene where they ride out and they see that he's pretty much taking applications for a group of thugs, and so you have a couple of cowboy ruffians, rednecks, then you have biker people, then you have like Arab people. It's just like, and it gets like KKK, it gets like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
I think at that point
it's some Mexicans like, we don't need no stinking patches.
I mean, it's like the gloves were off at that point. It's like let's just go all out. We're not pulling no punches, but let's take any racist thing you can think of and just put it in here right here. So I thought it was funny. But one of my favorite scenes come up, a little bit later on, with Gene Wilder with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
He says, because the bomb's not working, the not working, so he has to shoot, and it's like what 300-400 yards away.
Yeah, and the Reverend was like, "Dear Lord," he was steady this man's hand and give him. They beat the Reverend up a little bit.
Beat him up. Yeah. So, but then he shoots, and there's the explosion and body parts. I think there was a couple people
and a couple of horses.
Yeah, blew up. And that's just like.
That got you?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved that scene. I really did.
Yeah, it is the most ridiculous. Well, but it's funny. It's funny. In the town, like you've seen it, like essentially this scene where the town comes in and beats up the people that's coming to destroy them.
Yeah,
it's pretty much Magnificent Seven. If you've seen Magnificent Seven, the concept of the town getting ready for the outlaws to come in to but getting they getting the town tough and ready to beat the villains up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Magnificent Seven did that. Seven Samurai did that because Magnificent Seven is like a reimagining of Seven Samurai. Then like later on, I'm watching Star Trek Enterprise. There's a season where they did that with the Klingons, and so it's just that's a theme in movies. But this one is a little different. Is they got the people to create a like down to the bush replica of the town.
Yeah.
But then they forgot the people. They made it down to the. They made a replica of the people, and these people are so dumb that they didn't even think about the fact that these are cardboard people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, oh man, and then they fight. What is your thoughts on the end where they fight into the studio system, where the camera pans over and you see they're the Warner Brother backlot? What was your thoughts when you seen them do when the camera did that?
That took me like out of the movie for a split second. That's like, what's going on? Because then it becomes like, again, it's parody, so
it's breaking the fourth wall in
a
totally different, literally breaking the fourth wall.
One of my favorite lines in the movie is from was he the mayor?
Yeah,
okay.
Governor. You talking about Mel Brooks' character? Yeah. Okay.
Get me off the studio.
No. That was Headley. He was the lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor. Okay.
Yeah.
Him. Give me off.
Attorney General. He's one of them. He's something like that.
Yeah. Get me off this studio. I believe that was the line. And I just started laughing because it was a street.
He said, "Give me off this movie. Give me out."
Was it a movie?
Yeah, I think he said, "Give me off this picture," or something like that. Like he's leaving. He literally is hell in the cab because they break the fourth wall. So what happens is they're fighting in like the West, right? Everybody's fighting melee. The camera pans over and reveals like Warner Brothers backlot, and you're like, "What in the world? This Warner Brothers backlot?" And then all of a sudden, cuts to a scene where Dom DeLuise. Are you familiar with Dom DeLuise, Elise?
No.
Oh my gosh, Dom DeLuise was also a legendary comedic actor as well, and he's the director. And said, "All right," he says the word that I'm not going to use. And he says, "Throw out your hands, stick out your tush, give it, And they're doing a song and dances like for this musical picture, and all of a sudden, the fight breaks into their studio, and they start. Then like the cowboys start fighting like the dancers,
yeah,
and it's just like, and then it spills from there to like the commissary, the kitchen. You see Hitler, the guy playing Hitler, talking to some other guy, and eating lunch, and yeah, I'm gonna be on this picture for a couple more days, and all of a sudden they spill in there, and they start fighting and throwing food, and then like there's a studio tour, and they come in, they get dirty, and at the same time, so it's funny because Headley, Lamar, he comes out the bathroom, and he sees that there's a fight, and he just goes back into the bathroom like, okay, let me get out of here, but then someone in there throws a pie at him, I guess, and everybody spills out and runs it out into the streets, and he gets into a cab and takes it to Chinese theater.
Yeah, where they're showing the movie. But he tries to get in with using a student ID, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, you like that part?
Yeah,
okay,
I like that
that's
part.
great. And then he gets in, he buys milk duds, or
I'm not sure what he bought.
He bought some candy.
He bought some candy though.
And he starts to sit down and watch the movie. And then he sees in the movie, as he's watching the movie, Blazing Saddles. So he's at the theater in LA watching Blazing Saddles as it's in the theater, and he sees the part in the movie as he's at that theater where Cleavon is coming up on the horse, and he runs and they go out, and then they have the final duel, and he dies. He dies. And then Cleavon and Jim goes back and watch the movie, and then we go back into the movie, and we're back in the movie.
Yeah.
The fourth wall is now done being broken. If you look at that, how ridiculous that is, and you look at that, you're probably like, oh, this is dumb. But you look at the brilliance of, Mel Brooks was like, how can I break the fourth wall where nobody else has never broke the fourth wall? And he said, I know. Let me show the movie and go into another movie and go show the movie being shown and then be back into a movie, and it worked. Later on, he really did his thing, breaking the fourth wall in Spaceballs, because he totally did it by breaking the fourth wall by showing a copy of the actual Spaceballs movie with the right art cover and everything for the movie for its time on VHS.
They had merchandise, they had sequels. I mean, they had it all.
It's man, just Mel Brooks is brilliant, man. He's before his time, really, if you think about like, because later on you have a Deadpool and Ferris Bueller and people that breaks the fourth wall occasionally, but Mel did it and did it better. But yeah, so the movie ends with Cleavon and well, I keep calling that Bart and Jim riding off to go nowhere. They said they're going nowhere special, nowhere special, which is like probably a literal town. But they're riding off, and then they get into like a limousine thing, a car, and ride off into the sunset, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, I like that. That they rode off into the sunset, get off their horses, get in his car, and drive off.
Mm-hmm.
Little added bonus there. I liked it. I mean, I thought it was like, why ride a horse when you can get in a car?
It's like totally like so essentially it's like we're done with filming this movie. Now let's get back into the studio. They had somebody come up and grab the horses that handles the horse wrangler, and then they got and drove off the picture, and it's the end of the movie. That was probably the last scene that they needed to shoot. That's a wrap. Loved it, man. Just this movie is so original. Would you say that?
Yeah, I would definitely say it was original, especially for its time. But it still works.
Yeah.
I just think people would be really offended because they get offended by everything.
Absolutely. And if you get offended easily, you need to watch this. I want you to be offended. But yeah, I'm ready to go ahead and get my score for it. So I'm going to give Blazing Saddles 5 markouts out of 5. I do it because I think that it's an original film. I think Cleavon did a good job. I think Gene did a good job. I think all the supporting characters in it works, even though it's an old movie and not a lot of people will enjoy or understand the comedy. I think if you are an old soul and you like Mel Brooks, I think that you would like this movie. You might not love the movie, but I think you'll at least like the movie.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I gave it a 3.5 on Letterboxd, but I'm gonna change it to a 4.
Yeah.
Talking about it made me remember some more stuff, and I was like, it was a very entertaining movie. It was a very funny movie, with a lot of racist jokes that I personally found to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's okay. And it's all right that you found it. That's the whole point of this movie, is to laugh at racism and to laugh at the hypocrisy of looking at color.
Yeah.
And to laugh at that stuff. And, people like want to be so serious, why so serious, right? But
all right, why so serious?
But people want to be so serious and really like look at these, but a movie like this says, let's laugh at how ridiculous it is that these people feel this way about black folks or white folks or Chinese folks or Indian folks. And like even Mel Brooks plays an Indian dude in this movie, but he wasn't speaking. He's speaking like Yiddish the whole time. He wasn't speaking like Native American.
I did love that scene where the Indians show up.
Yeah.
And let the black people go.
He said they're blacker than we are.
Yeah, it's like
they're gonna have it rough, So it's just like he said the white folks will let us be in that circle, so we made our own.
Yeah.
Just it works, man. I think that people can watch this movie. You can really watch this movie and really find like and there's a scene, there's Mel Brooks as the Native American in this movie. It's a controversial movie for people, obviously. You might watch it and be like offended, but if you give it a chance and you take your offense out of it, you're gonna probably laugh, and it's okay to laugh at it because that's what these people were. That's the whole point of the movie, is laughing at things that giving you an outlet to laugh at something that you wouldn't necessarily laugh at in reality.
Yeah. I remember when I turned it on. I had no idea what this was. I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't look it up. Because I really had never really heard of it. And I was like, when it started and all the jokes started, I was like, what has Aaron got me watching? But I thought it was great. I thought it was a great comedy.
DK says, do Open Range next or Snyder Cut. What is Open Range?
It's a Western with Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall.
Oh, okay. What I didn't know if it was like, wasn't there like a movie called Open Range, but with like
I think there
animated.
It's open season.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking. I was like, is that with the animated cows and stuff? We ain't gonna do another Western just yet. We'll have to do one some other time. Brandon gets the choice coming up next. Brandon, so have you decided on what you want to watch?
I'll get back with you. I got a pretty good idea. I'll let you know.
All right,
like tomorrow or something.
Okay, it works. Well, Brandon will let us know what he's gonna pick, and he's gonna post it on our Facebook page. Please, if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. If you're on Facebook, follow us. Also, you can hit me up on Twitter. I believe I'm like, I don't know my Twitter name. We'll wait on that because I don't remember what it is. On Instagram, I'm Aaron Knows Movies. I don't know if Brandon has anything. He's in Russellville. They don't have a lot.
Another shot. I don't have. I mean, I have an Instagram, but I don't get on it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Hit him up on Facebook. No, don't hit him up on Facebook. Unless you want to. Brandon, I don't know. He might be worried about that. Don't do that. Anyway, hit us up on our Markout Movie podcast page, right?
Oh my God.
But in the meantime, in between time,
hit me up on Facebook. Don't hit him. He'll be weird. I don't know what the world was that.
Brandon's sweet. He's sweet. He's a sweet guy. But Aaron Whitlow.
Oh, Brandon Spivey.
And thank you for marking out with us here on the Markout Movie